Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Excel Center in London, where we're covering the DSCI trade show, one of the world's largest air, land, sea, cyber, and security trade shows. Our coverage here is in partnership with DSCI and Clarion Events, and we've got with us Kurt Olsen, who is a Director of Business Development at VPI Technology Group. Kurt, thanks very much for joining us.
My pleasure, good to be here.
So you guys are a $20 million company. You were formed in 1996, and you won a really key you hit the lottery last year, $165 million contract with the United States Army for radiological detection gear. Very competitive space. I don't have to tell you, you know that better than I do. Talk to us a little bit about the system that ended up winning and the traction that it has on international markets. I mean, you guys are here among 1,600 exhibitors, and the British military is very interested in your equipment as well.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you. Yes, we're pretty excited about this win. It was a big win for the company. The U.S. Army decided they wanted to actually do a small business set-aside to develop the next generation of radiological detection equipment for the warfighters to wear and carry with them. We kind of went up against, we might say, a David versus Goliath situation, went up against some bigger companies, and we actually ended up winning this based on our strengths in engineering and our history in radiation detection.
So talk to us a little bit about that history and the investment that you guys made in order to win this competition, because you've been working on this system now for a couple of years.
Yeah, it was a very long kind of bid process. Actually, it was about a 2.5-year process that we went through. They went through a couple of rounds of the bidding. We came through with a very well thought out proposal, down to even some pre-design, actually a lot of design, down to the costing of materials. But the government, one of their key requirements was they wanted an open system. They didn't want to be locked into a given vendor's proprietary technology. And we said, sure, that's how we do a lot of commercial business, and with our commercial customers, anything we design, they own the intellectual property. Right. And we said to the government, we're used to that. Sure, you can have it, which gives them full flexibility. If they want to have somebody else develop peripherals or even have somebody else manufacture it, their hands are not tied, so they can do whatever they want. They really love that. It seems like nobody else replied that way, and that's one of the reasons we won the contract. So.
But that is something that the last administration was calling for: greater open architectures, and get away from these some commercial systems that some prime contractors were accused of making proprietary, and therefore trying to limit the choices. Although you can understand it from the prime's perspective, their hands are on that program for eternity. Talk to us a little bit about this system and what we're looking at here, and how it all comes to play in terms of the kit, the soldier radiological system of the future, if you will.
Okay, so this is the handheld base unit. There's also a pouch that can be worn, at the side or in front. The size and the dimensions were very, exactingly specified by the government. This is designed to be extremely rugged. There's a lot of requirements around just durability. It has to be able to be dropped in water and be underwater for 30 minutes. It has to survive sand and salt fog and salt spray. It even has to survive a nuclear blast, if you will. Not the heat of the blast, that would melt it, but
it's at ground zero telling you there's radiation.
Yeah. But there is as you would imagine, a significant burst of energy, actually gamma radiation, that comes off of a nuclear blast. Our engineers designed this in less than 1 microsecond, not a millisecond, a microsecond. It immediately shuts the power off to the device and powers down so that it can withstand that initial burst. It's an EMP essentially. Right. And we've actually tested it just in the last couple of weeks at the White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. Passed first time, works really well.
I was going to say, you could ship it to the Koreans and they could test it for you and then send it back. Yikes. Bad joke.
So that's the base unit, and on the bottom we have connecting ports to which can be connected a wide variety of other probes. The type of radiation that you would want to detect is alpha, beta, gamma, neutron, and X-ray. And so these probes detect those various types of radiation depending on the situation you're dealing with. So this, for example, this nice kettle weight is a neutron detector. It's actually one of the first in the world to use a solid-state neutron detector. Most of the previous units have used helium-3 based detectors, and so this is one of the first on the market with that.
And from a form-fit standpoint, those have been significantly larger than this is.
They're actually similar size. The reason this is so big and heavy is that when neutrons hit the detector, they're moving very quickly. So we actually have to slow them down to detect them. And so this is called moderating material. And as the neutrons hit it, slows it down, and then the detector inside can detect it. And so there's a certain amount of mass just required by the laws of physics.
So talk to us, squad level, company level, platoon. What is the Army's philosophy on this? There has been a lot of investment in looking at NBC, again, peer-on-peer competition, nuclear power. So there has been a lot more focus on this. How many soldiers will have this system?
Well, so the initial quantities that we're hearing about are in the many thousands, and so not necessarily every soldier would carry it, but the soldiers that are trained to respond, in the event of a nuclear incident, whatever it might be, would have a certain level of kit. Certainly, they'll have the base unit, which detects a couple of different types of radiation. And then if they find, they find out more about the situation, they may need to bring in other probes. But there are different situations. For example, the Navy will use this. The neutron detector generally only comes into play when there's been an atomic bomb, and hopefully that's something that never happens. But it also gets used to detect any issues with a nuclear reactor, so on board a submarine or a ship. So they'll actually use this every single day. So it kind of depends on the use case scenario.
From an engineering lab tech perspective, and you're working out your upper body strength.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what's the size of this addressable market. So you're a $20 million company in this space. How much growth do you see in this market? What's the and how do you intend to move up that value chain? So what's the 5-year plan? Where are you guys going to be in 5 years in terms of your positioning in this market?
Yeah, so VPI has a great mixture of both commercial and government business, and we plan to continue to grow both of those. In fact, within this project, there's a great example of both sides. So we're finishing testing right now. The government will then take this product and test it for the next 1.5 years, and then we'll start to go into production. So we'll sell a lot of units to the government. Again, this will be available across all government military branches. For the first time ever, they will have the same system. So there's a lot of potential volume involved there. But the government has actually encouraged us to sell it commercially as well. They didn't just say, oh, maybe you could. It's please do. They want us to actually take it and be commercially successful with it. So we'll offer that in both spaces, and we see a lot of growth opportunities there. VPI is not only about radiation detection, though that's certainly one of our key strengths, but we are an engineering company. We're good with wireless systems, embedded systems, sensors of all different kinds. And we see a great opportunity for companies that may not want to have their own engineering resources, or they need some help to offload a project. We get a lot of incoming inquiries, a lot of repeat business, and we're just going to keep growing that and get bigger and successful.
And so people should come out to Draper, Utah, on the south part of the Great Salt Lake and visit you guys there.
Yes, or give us a call, visit us online. We love taking on projects of just a wide variety. We've done just a crazy variety. We have a product that just went up into the International Space Station last summer, went up on a SpaceX rocket that detects and tracks commercial ships worldwide for the first, on a globe. You can see every ship in the world. Just our guys have taken on some really interesting projects.
Do you download the app for that or something like that to be able to track it, or does it go into other ship tracking or global maritime awareness systems?
There's actually a web-based app that you can log into and spin the globe around and zoom in and click on a ship and see its name and its heading, and pretty interesting stuff. So.
That's awesome. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in it. Kurt, thanks very much. We really appreciate it. Best of luck, and look forward to talk to you over time as you guys get bigger and bigger and have new products.
Sounds great. Thanks, Vago.